Lads.
Hi Blades. So the pre-match was being surrounded by the disappointing news of Chris Wilder leaving the club. But the less said about that, the better really. Social media channels were a cesspit of anger, just disappointment, frustration, confusion. And yeah, it wasn't a good place to be. We found out that Paul Heckingbottom would be taking control until the end of the season with Jason Tyndall and I think Alan Nils staying on to help out, which is confusing in itself as well. Lineup wise, nothing much really changed. Basham was back, which was great to see, and Burke started up front. McGoldrick was out with a knee injury. Really disappointing that. And yeah, the match kind of went how we probably all kind of expected it to, really. It was a very dominant first half by Leicester. Only a few minutes in, they hit the post. It was a good cross from the left-hand side. Flicked header by Perez, and it hit the post. But I didn't see it on first show, but by the replays, Ramsdale managed to get an absolute fingertip to it, to pop it onto the post. Outstanding save. And well, yeah, he's carried on his fantastic form of the last couple of months. To be honest, I wasn't expecting to do a visit today, so I was kind of not really paying attention to loads of the game, but it was really kind of what we all thought it was going to be. Like I said, just dominant. We didn't look to know have confidence, but I guess that's been all season. Yeah, it weren't a good first half football. They scored, I can't remember what minute it was in, but it was a decent goal, to be fair. It was a ball down the line to Vardy, put across to Iheanacho, and it was an easy finish. Ramsdale had no chance. Maybe Ampadu should have just held back rather than putting a foot in, but, you know, they're a good team, Leicester, I suppose. So, yeah, nothing much really happened other than that. And I guess our good friend Steve will tell us what happens in the second half for you.
So Paul Heckingbottom's red and white army come out for the second half, down 1-0. I don't feel good saying that. I really don't, but I felt like I had to say it. Down 1-0, really flat first half performance, and could they do any better? They could do a lot worse, actually, and they did. Not going to really spend a lot of time going over the ins and outs of the second half. Bash headed the ball off the line, kept us in it briefly. Then Iosi Perez popped up and made it 2-0. I'll give Nick a second. He's got to put the stuff on the bottom. Kelechi Iheanacho then got a second and a third for him, a third and a fourth for Leicester. And Jamie Vardy then compounded the misery. Luckily, small wonder, it's not his goal, it's an Ethan Ampadu own goal to make it 5-0 in the second half. A couple things from my friend Statman Adam. We've never lost 5-0 under Chris Wilder. So, one game into the new regime, and we took care of that. And that there is our worst league defeat in 20 years. The last one came against Blackburn Rovers, for anybody that's interested. And I fear now that this is how it's going to be for the rest of the season. I don't think the performances are going to really get much better. It's going to be flat, and it's going to be pedestrian. It's just going to be getting over the line. I don't think there's any point rushing Egan back or O'Connell or Berga. So it's just going to be a long slog to the rest of the season. Lots obviously to be said on Wilder. We've got a separate fans react coming out for that. Heckingbottom doesn't deserve any blame, neither does Jason Tyndall, even though I don't know why they brought him in, but I'm not placing blame on their shoulders. But I think what we saw today was that Wilder had to go to really, really great lengths to get a tune out of this team, especially in the Premier League. And when you don't have a manager who's getting the tune out of him, this is what happens. So definitely no new manager bounce for the Blades. It was just a depressing, flat, pathetic, boring, pedestrian 90 minutes of football. and we clung on for the first 45, and then we capitulated completely in the second 45. And it's just compounded the misery of the weekend. It's just really been not a fun 3 or 4 days to be a Blade. So on we march to the next match, and really I think all eyes now are on what happens after this season, in the off-season between now and our inevitable trip to the Championship next year. So poor Jem, who we welcome to Fans React, has got the unenviable task of doing the ratings. I've got a guess as to what they will be, but I'll turn it over to her and let her put some numbers to the names. Till next time, up the Blades.
So then, player ratings. First of all, I'd like to thank Nick and Hal for having me on this. Ramsdale I have given a 5. It did make some good saves. Didn't do that much all, to be honest. Would have been higher rated if he didn't concede 5 goals. George Baldock I have given a 4. Rarely made mistakes in the first half. Didn't really do that much in the second half. Probably he should have defended better for the second goal, which was scored by Perez. Chris Basham, I've also given him a 4. First goal, he was ball watching. Why do that? Tackle Vardy. Why? Should be tackling, not ball watching. But did a great clearance to deny Volley a goal, so that's why it's a 4. And Purdue, 2.5. That might seem very, very harsh, but I'm being generous at the minute, because it's just the worst I've seen him play. And he's been great the past few games. Would have been a 3 if he didn't score the own goal. It's the worst I've seen him play. Keane Bryan, I've given him a 3. It's same with Basham. Ball watching for the first goal, make an attempt to tackle. Anything. But he kept losing the ball most of the time as well. Dreadful in my opinion, dreadful. Ender Stevens, I've given a 3. Just didn't do much. Ghosted, didn't really win anything. Lundstrom, give him a 2. Just what's the point of him being there? What's the point? Just dreadful. It's been dreadful all season, dreadful today. What's the point in starting him? What is the point? Just didn't look bothered. Norwood, I've given a 3.5. His first 15 minutes were poor. After that he did okay. Did a few good tackles. Sometimes he did pull out of tackles, which you shouldn't really do. Fleck, I've given a 3. Well, it was okay. Okay, first half, second half. Didn't offer that much at all, especially attacking. That's what he usually does. Was better the past few games, like Ampadu. Billy Sharp, the captain, I've given a 4. Played well, went about a bit, won a few tackles, won a few fouls. Honestly, just didn't look like scoring. Oliver Burke, I've given a 2.5. Early on, got the ball, lost it pretty much straight away. Did okay pressuring. Mostly ran around, but dreadful overall. It seems a bit harsh, but yeah. Now the 2 subs. Wasn't going to rate them, but I've rated them, so I'm just going to tell you them. Lise Mousse, I have given a 3. He came on the 63rd minute. Honestly, didn't offer much. Ran about a bit. He was also pretty much ghosted. And last one, Illiman, I can't pronounce his last name, I apologise, guys, I'm awful with that. I've given him a 3.5. That's a bit of a shock, but came on for the last 10 minutes. He ran about a bit, a few good passes. I'd love to see more of him. I'd love to see more of the youngsters. Yeah, and that's my player ratings. Let me know what you think.
So I'll be covering the positives and negatives from today's game with Leicester, and we will start off with the positives, and I'll try and keep this short and sweet. But yeah, positives. Aaron Ramsdale had a good game. That is pretty much the only positive I could think of from this game. Obviously the scoreline self-explanatory what happened, but Ramsdale kept the scoreline down, to be honest. I thought he looked a lot more confident than he did first half of the season. But yeah, other than that, I couldn't really think of any other positives. And if I was really clutching at straws, I would probably say that coming out of that game with no injuries is another positive. But generally, yeah, that was pretty much it, which leads us on to negatives. From start to finish, the players did not look at it They looked lost, disheartened, didn't really have any idea of how they were meant to be playing, to be honest, from start to finish. And I guess when you look at it, can you blame them when the manager's gone? And it probably wasn't the right decision for them either. I know it isn't for us fans, and it isn't for many other people in the sport, but yeah, the players look disheartened, they look clueless really. It's the worst performance I've seen from Sheffield United in the last 5 years, and that is a lot of games, so yeah, it's not good. Yeah, overall stunned by that performance really. We didn't look like we even had a style of play, you know. Under Wilder, even though we'd lose, it was only about 1 or 2-0, or 1 or 2-1 even, and everyone was playing, you know, to a style. We had some direction of what we were doing, but from today it just looked like the players went out there without any form of guidance or direction or tactics, and just got told to do the best. And yeah, like Billy Sharp said in his post-match interview, it was like men against boys. So yeah, the result's self-explanatory. It's just a shocking performance, and unfortunately it doesn't look good for the rest of the season, and I'm sure the board probably know that now after today's results. So yeah, I guess that leads us to, where do we go next?
Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Alright, Bears fans, me back again. Got the McBurney top on today. Didn't bring us any luck. I've been asked to answer the question of, where do we go from here? The easy question at the minute. Yeah, where do we go from here? I guess right now, all we can do as fans, all we can do as Blades, all we can do in any way to support the team is look at getting behind whoever is in charge of the team, no matter what the circumstances are. Wilder's not here, Wilder's gone. We've still got Nil, for how long I don't know, but we've still got him. We just need to get behind the fans, we just need to get behind the players, get behind the manager, get behind everyone behind the scenes and really push. The one thing I will say, and the one thing I will say we've got to look forward to, is whatever happens in the football world, we will be back at Bramall Lane. We will be back singing the Greasy Chick Boy song. We will be back cheering the boys on. So let's just get behind them, see out the end of this season, which, as we've just seen with that result, it's going to be a task doing that. But let's get behind them. Let's be ready for when we're back in Bramall Lane. We're back at the away days, cheering them on, being electric, pushing the boys like we did before, and hopefully, whoever we get in brings back some success that we've seen in the recent years. Regardless, Wilder came in, he took us to the Premier League. When he came in, we were League One. When he goes, we were Premiership, going to be Championship. We're still improved. We're still a purpose to why he was here. So let's just be ready to sing the boys back on.